Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Omnifactory. And in the last one, we started moving over our fusion crafting, and we had a major overhaul of this. I have since added the rest of this half of the room, and also added in the ceilings and things like that. All of this is now wired up. Tried to keep it all nice and neat below, and copied it more or less exactly on each row. However, that's not all I've done in between episodes. I've actually been playing quite a bit just to get things set up. I've also expanded the room down here for the assembly lines, which we briefly laid out last time. It's since been expanded, and I've still to set up the assembly lines, but the general room layout is all here. And I'm quite happy with the way this turned out, actually. I don't know exactly how long this room will be yet, but if we have it like this, this gives us room for 12 assembly lines. If we keep the same spacing and configuration, this will be 12 assembly lines, 6 on each side. Maybe -1, since I was considering having this a walkway to connect up to that staircase over there, this one here. So I think for the time being, I'm just going to leave this open space at the back, just in case we have to expand it. But yeah, the hardest part of this room is now completed, which is like designing this. So the plan for today is we're going to start looking at more progression. I think the first thing I'd like to work on is fully passiving this tier 7 microminer, which is a really big undertaking, but we've been laying the groundwork for a couple of episodes by building out those rooms. So I think a bulk of the foundations is already done for this. So let's just start by pinning each of the items, and we'll just work through them one by one. I think this is going to be the best way to do it. So field gens, core stabilizers, and warp engines. So until we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items to passive, which doesn't sound too bad, but of course these are nested. Actually, we missed one. There's a 6 there. The Ender Energy Manipulator. Of course, though, all of these are deeply nested crafts, maybe apart from the heavy plating. Microminer guidance systems, which involve sensors. This involves processors. This is fusion crafting for these energy core stabilizers, but this now we can easily expand to our room now that we have it built. This is the assembly line stuff, which we can easily do now. And then the warp engines, these are actually going to probably take the most time, even though it's a simple crafting recipe. Each of these steps is, yeah, really heavily nested. We have to do all of this. So it's just really a matter of picking a rabbit hole to jump down to start with here. Let's maybe just do the easiest things first. Let's do the draconium heavy plating. This obviously is a compressor recipe, but I would quite like to put it in a processing array. Has to be at least ZPM. So let's go to our processing array room and decide on a spot for this. I think I'll start making some of the passive processes in these ones here, and we'll just start work left to right, front to back, since I know there's going to be more of these heavy platings required. So I guess let's first start off by requesting a bunch of compressors. It has to be at least ZPM, so we'll get 16 of these. Can we make 16? We can. Okay, let's kick off those crafts. And then we also need draconium plates. Do I passive these already? Draconium, I do, okay. So this is pretty simple then. I'm assuming we're just fluid solidifying these. So since these are ZPM machines, I think we need at least a UV energy input. We'll need an input for the machines, the multi-block itself, or the controller itself, and then the rest will be, well, the sides will be casing, and then we need input on the top, as well as an output bus. We also have to have all the wiring in here, so I think I was doing it up the back of the room. Yeah, okay. Let me wire this up then. Okay, so all the wires are in place. I just have this hooked up to an ME interface, supplying the draconium plates directly. This will go into the input bus, and then I've got a drawer. I changed the output to the front so that we can expose this drawer. Now all that's left to do is input the machines. We're still waiting on, what is it, 6. Should have some completed though already. Let's see, ZPM. Once we put these in, it should start. In fact, no, it won't, because we don't have power yet. Let me hook up power. Alright, that's power hooked up. It's now running. We should be getting heavy plating once this finishes. And since the drawer's locked, we'll have to set the drawer manually. And yeah, that's heavy plating now on passive. And this is basically free. The input is just draconium plates, which we're fluid solidifying. So we don't have to worry about any sort of level limit or anything. We can just let this run more or less forever. fact, we might as well just upgrade this drawer to max as well. The only thing we should be careful of is the power consumption, now that we're going to have these really expensive power consumers on passive. In fact, how are we doing? Yeah, we are negative now, which is not ideal. We might have to do something about power this episode. But for now, I'm going to keep putting it off, I think, actually. I'm going to put off power as long as we can, and we'll just turn off these machines if it comes to that. So yeah, that's the first thing off the list. What's going to be next then? Next, let's do laser arrays. This takes extended crafting. Maybe let's put that off, because we're going to have to set up a room for extended crafting. Although we should really get that out of the way and do that today as well. Okay, actually, let's come back to that. Let's do the microminer guidance system first. So this we need sensors, carbide heavy plating, and tier 4 circuits. The tier 4s we already have on passive. So let's do the tungsten carbide plating next, which is also another processing array compressor recipe. So it's going to be more or less exactly the same as this. I'll just set that up right here, I think. Actually, how long is this? It's 10 seconds EV. I think we can afford to do this at LUV. I don't think this has to be ZPM. Okay, this recipe works out at 0.5 seconds at ZPM and 1.3 at LUV. I think 1.3 seconds per item is going to be fast enough, considering this is going to give us 16. Technically, it's 16 every 1.3 seconds, so I think that is going to be fast enough. Let's just do this at LUV. So we need 15 LUV compressors. It should be easy enough. Wait, why are we stuck on ZPM machine halls? I think I actually just set that machine up. I don't actually know what it is though. It's one of these. Oh no. Is it this one? Yeah, ZPM machine hall. Here we go. Okay, it's all fixed. I just forgot to allow input from output side. So that was the only issue with that. That means that our other compressors are now finished. Yep, there's the other 6 of the ZPM ones. And then I'll set up the next heavy plating. Okay, this is all hooked up. There is one more thing we have to do though. Since the carbide heavy platings take tungsten carbide plates rather than ingots, we're going to have to make plates, which means we should set these up as a passive system in our fluid solidification wall. That's easy enough to fix though. We just have to melt some tungsten carbide, put it in a tank, put in the plate mold, auto output into the drawer, and set the drawer. And done, we're passively producing tungsten carbide plating. So now we can add this to our interface for the input on the processing array. I'll hide this. And you should be oh wait, no, I have to give it machines first, of course. This gives us the heavy plating. We'll set the drawer, and I put the storage bus on there? I did. Okay, cool. So that's heavy plating done. Next is EV sensors. So EV sensors require platinum rods, titanium plates, and ender pearls. And then more tier 4 circuits, but we have those already. So titanium plates, let's do those first. Again, this is another case we're only doing the ingot, so let's get a bucket of this and fluid solidify the plating. And I'll also do the same for the rod. I'll set that up with a extruder for platinum. Okay, we're now making passive platinum rods and also passive titanium plating. So that just leaves us making the sensor. We're already making ender pearls from DML. So this means we have everything here. So let's grab a stack of each of these items. So titanium plates, platinum rods, ender pearls, and tier 4 circuits. Then we'll come over here to our crafting wall and we'll add each of these into the interface. So plating, tier 4 circuits, ender pearls, platinum rods. And if we set the recipe for EV sensors here, this will automatically craft it. Set the drawer. And yeah, now we're passively crafting the EV sensors. So that's those things off the list. Okay, what should we tackle next then? Warp engines, field generators. Okay, this field generator is going to be this is definitely a task. Let's put that off a little bit longer. Let's finish doing the advanced microminer guidance systems. And actually, yeah, I think we've got everything for this now that we've got the sensors. Yeah, so we can just add this to the interface above it. So we've got tier 4 circuits, carbide heavy platings, and the EV sensors. And set the recipe for these. Set the drawer, and that's it done. Awesome. I don't think things will be quite as easy from here on out, but yeah, here we go. So, oh boy, where do we want to start? Okay, let's actually do the warp engines next. So, warp engines require crystal matrix platings, dislocation normalization field projector, that is a mouthful, advanced dislocators, blocks of inderium. Actually, we're already solidifying inderium, I believe, so we don't need to do that. Flux thrusters, dark solarium thrusters. Oh man, this is going to take ages. We have to do what? The dark solarium requires vibrant, energetic, electrical steel, conductive iron. Oh man. This requires resonating redstone crystals, which is an alloy smelter. Oh, we're going to have to passive all the conduits. Well, not all the conduits, just this one, I think. Is it? Oh no, we do have to do all the conduits, because it goes up to draconium. Okay, you know what, let's once again do the easier thing and just do this dislocation normalization field projector. This isn't quite as bad, so we have to passive iron bars. We'll need an assembling machine for that, and then we'll also have to passive this thing. This is just a crafting recipe, and then this dislocator is another crafting recipe. Although I don't think we're making draconium dust yet. Right, let's pin all these things. Right, let's start with draconium dust, which is pulverizing draconium ingots. So I'll need a blendomatic. Okay, that's draconium dust. I've added a macerator here. I need to set the drawer. And I'm not going to do every single one of these processes on camera, I don't think, because, I mean, it's a lot. You have to set auto output here as well. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much of this I'm going to show in the episodes. I just wanted to kind of show, like, how the process of setting these sort of things up, which I hope now you can see the importance of having all of these rooms designed, as it now becomes pretty easy to add machines to it and add recipes to the wall and so on. But yeah, with that we can now add this recipe. So draconium dust, blaze powder, and chorus. Actually, I don't think I'm passive in blaze powder. I think I've got blaze rods, just not the powder. I'm not sure if it's best to do this recipe as a crafting recipe with gunpowder and hellish matter, or if we're best just pulverizing the blaze rods themselves. I mean, this gives 4 per and this only gives 2, so I guess we'll add a pulverizer for the blaze powder. Or actually, you know what, let's put that off because I remembered we're doing it down here somewhere in one of these older systems. Yeah, it's part of this mana dust production, this long line of dusts. And when I eventually move this over to upstairs, this will give us the blaze powder. So I'm going to leave that out for now and I'll come back to that. So we'll just set the recipe for this dislocator here. And these don't stack either, but it shouldn't be much of an issue. We don't need to buffer huge amounts of these. That's giving us dislocators. Nice, that's one more step down. Alright, and then these are used in the item dislocator, which is block of redstone, draconium ingot. That's just another crafting recipe. We can add this above it. Alright, and that gives us the item dislocators. And then iron bars. We have to do iron bars and then these field projectors. Okay, one thing I just remembered about when I was setting up these iron bars, we do need iron rods. And then I was going to make a lathe. I realised I didn't have a lathe, and I thought, wait, didn't I just make platinum rods? And I realised I was doing it in an extruder. Double check the power requirements as well as the time, and the lathe is just better in almost every way. So I'm going to swap the platinum rods out with a lathe instead. It's just way superior. It's faster and also uses less power. So yeah, I'm going to do that instead of the extruder. And I'll also set up one for iron bars. Or iron rods. Alright, that's a assembly machine. I just done this at EV. This is going to give us iron bars. Just need a storage bus on here. And same deal for the crafting recipe. We can add all of these items plus the dislocator into the interface. Set the recipe for this field projector. And bam, set the drawer and we're done. Now I think really the easy stuff is gone. Yeah. Okay, so next up I decided to tackle this crystal matrix ingot, which requires ultimate crafting, and obviously we have to passive these. So that requires diamond lattice, and so I added a fluid solidifier for diamond plates. I switched out our diamond storage with a compacting drawer to give us the blocks. And then the only thing that isn't fully renewable is these exquisite emeralds, which can only be had from microminers, which we don't have passived yet. Eventually we will passive probably the tier 1. Maybe the tier 3, since we need ruby as well. But this will be a lot more simple, and a lot of the things will already be done, since Some of these components are also used, like for example, we've already done the tungsten carbide plating. But yeah, we'll get to that eventually. However, I did add a crafter for diamond lattice over here. And then I was trying to automate this crystal matrix last night. I ended up way overcomplicating it. I spent like an hour trying to get it to work, and I just couldn't get it to work, so I just gave up, and yeah, here we are. Attempt 2. So I've set up this room for the extended crafting. These are just the crafters that I used to have downstairs. And then I set up this crystal matrix automation here, which is using the automation interface. I really don't like this machine. It's really buggy and annoying, but it does allow you to just jam items in there. So I just have an interface to supply all the items for crystal matrix, and it smart fills it into this ultimate crafting table. Looks like we're actually out of diamond lattice. I suspect we're out of exquisites. Let's actually just double check that. Yeah, we're out of exquisite diamonds. Yeah, this is just extracting from a item conduit here and putting it into the drawer, and then I've got a storage bus on the bottom side to expose it to our network. So this seems to work well, at least for items that have less than 9 unique inputs that we have to passive. I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any that we actually have more than 9 items. Maybe this, which is what I was working on next. No, this is only 7. Okay, so we can do the same sort of setup with the extended crafting table over here. But since there's only 3 different types of crafting tables, and we're gonna have this blank space left in this room. So I was considering moving all of these passive processes to this square, and that'll allow access for another 3 of each setup. These little star setups for the crafting tables in the middle. So I think I might actually just do that and move these over to here. But anyways, I also was working on this reinforced mining laser to passive this, which requires basic capacitors, which requires the basic RF capacitors. And I decided to go with the SMD capacitors for this capacitor recipe. I added a tin wire mill into our fluid solidifier wall as well. But the SMDs I've just got running over here. I think this is the IV. These were just fluid solidifying as well. So that's giving us passive SMDs. And then that's making the basic capacitors. This is making the power buffers. I think I had to add iron plates to the wall as well. And this is giving us capacitor banks with dark steel plates. So the last step is to actually put all of this together in the advanced crafting table. Also for the block of quartz, I put a drawer next to our DML setup. Yeah, I just added a drawer here for quartz with a lower priority on the output of the quartz maker from this processing array. I hope this will actually be fast enough, but yeah, this is giving us quartz right now, and it's just exposed to the same drawer network as the polymer clay. So yeah, the next step is to do this, but I think first I'm going to move all of these automation crafting tables over to this square. Alright, so now everything is moved over, and I've imported the recipe for this mining laser. Okay, that seems to be working fairly decently. I'll keep an eye on the speed. We might have to upgrade a few bottlenecks, but let's move on. So next we have to supercharge these, which requires a chemical reactor with radon, at least EV. Let's just do it at IV though. So we'll put a chemical reactor here, fluid interface, pump on the side, set it to import, configure this for radon, and then we'll need a drawer for output, I think. I guess item input as well, so we'll need a regular interface for that. And a conveyor. So we can put that on that side, and then we'll need our mining laser. Alright, so this is supercharging them. We'll set the drawer for the output. Again, this isn't really that fast, but I hope it's going to be fast enough. We don't need a ton of these. Let's actually just check. So it's 4 per tier 7. Yeah, this is going to be fast enough. There's no way we're going to be launching tier 7s quicker than this can make 4 lasers. Although it looks like we've stopped. Wait, this isn't plugged in. Duh. And storage bus on the side as well. Oh wait, yeah, we have run out of reinforced mining lasers already. What's wrong here? Oh, it's just this thing being slow. We may have to add a second one. Alright, so that's another thing off the list, and now I guess we should set up something for crystal matrix plating. And we're going to need quite a lot of this, since we need both the heavy plating for the tier 8s, and we also need it in plate form for these reactor focus rings, which are required for the stabilizers, and these are required in the tier 9s. and we also use it in the warp engine. So I think this is gonna be a processing array again for compressors. Okay, so the crystal matrix is all hooked up to its own processing array. It appears we can't actually keep up with this, so we're definitely going to have to do something about our crystal matrix production throughput. But at least now it's going to be set up for auto crafting. And is there any reason to actually keep crystal matrix on its own? Yes, quite a lot. So we probably want to limit this somehow. We'll need it for exotic materials catalysts and things like that. Although I think I'll just deal with that later on. Yeah, let's just leave that for now. We'll just let it run and build up some crystal matrix for us. Okay, let's see how far we can get with these warp engines then to finish off for today. So we've got the plate-ins, we've got these dislocator normalization field projectors. Enderium blocks, let's just double check we've actually got enderium blocks. We do, okay. So we just need the dislocators and the 2 thrusters. Let's just do the thrusters, just get these out of the way. So let's start at the bottom, I guess. So red alloy plates, enderium plating, reception coil, and numismatic dynamos. Okay, I have a feeling we're not going to get all of this done today, but yeah, let's at least make a start. So enderium plates, we need, well, we could just fluid solidify them, so I'll add those. Is there anything else we have to make? Electrum rods, we'll need a lathe for those. Let's pin that. Vibrant alloy plates as well, and silver rods. So I'm going to start with that and add these to our fluid solidifier room. Okay, so these are now passived and added to our fluid solidifier wall. Let's now start with some of these crafting recipes. So we have to make all of the furnaces, all the way through the tiers. Okay, there's furnace 1, iron furnace, copper furnace, silver furnace, gold furnace, and the diamond furnace. Alright, and done. Next, let's make all the coils, and then the excitation coil. And then we have to tackle these vibrant gears. I think these gears... oh yeah, these take grains of infinity, don't they? Actually, what like is our grains of infinity? 73,000, that's nowhere near enough. Oh no. I think we're going to have to expand our grains of infinity farm. Because these we're going to need a lot of. And I would like to do these in processing arrays. So we're going to have, what, 1, 2, 3 different alloy smelter processing arrays to do these bimetal gears. Okay, let's just do everything else first. I'll put in the recipes for the rest of these coils and so on. Okay, I've also added enderium plating, and that's actually us run out of space on this wall. I've started our 4th and hopefully final wall. I'm not sure if we're going to have to add much more than that. We'll see. But we are quickly running out of space for these double process machines. We've got a couple of spaces left on this side and like 2 on this side. So I may have to expand these vertically as well, I'm not sure. And I've also added all the coils and the dynamo. Of course we don't have the bimetal gears yet, but we're going to get to that in a bit. Let's first do all of the thrusters. Well, most of the thrusters. The dark solarium requires the vibrant, and this requires all of the conduit, as well as these crystals. So it's about time that we move these over to the new room that we built a couple episodes ago for RF machines. So that will have to get done. And then this is just a bunch of plating. I think a lot of this will need its place in the wall. I think we can do this fluxed thruster though. We can definitely do this resonant one, although we don't have the gears for the dynamos yet. We can do this. So red alloy plates, enderium plates, and reception coils. Okay, that's the resonant thruster, and I think all the easy stuff is out of the way now. So we're going to have to either tackle the bimetal gears, or we do all of the energy conduits, and I think I'm going to do all of the conduits. Oh, that means we also need conduit binder passive as well, don't we? Okay, so I've spent a little bit of time setting up the infrastructure for these conduits, and I added a second level to this GregTech machine room. I've decided to do all this at Ivy tier. I think this is going to be fast enough, so we're going to have 1 assembly machine per conduit. And I was originally going to make the wires on site here. All of these pinned wires here for all the conduits that we're going to need. However, some of these wires are also used elsewhere. Like the enderium, for example, is used in the assembly line. Since if I was to do it here, it would take up a lot of space and I would be going straight into the machine. I wanted to have a buffer, so I decided just to do it in this room instead. And then I expanded this wire, or this double setup, to add a second level. I'll have to change these about, but we're now making all of the wires here. So we've got draconium through to conductive iron. I've actually set auto output on these. There we go. Yeah, so that's all the wire done. As for the conduit binder, I have set up a just a basic EV furnace in one of these rooms over here. This is giving us conduit binder, and then I've got the recipe for conduit binder composite here. This is just clay, gravel, sand. And I think this EV furnace should be plenty fast enough. I was considering adding a multi-smelter, but honestly I don't think that'll be necessary. So now with all the wires and the conduit binder available, I just have to set a lot of robot arms on these assembly machines to input all the items. So let's start at the bottom one. So the bottom one is conductive iron. Yeah, so let's just start, I guess we'll go left to right. So interface for conduit binder and conductive iron wire. Make sure to hide from the interface terminal. And then we'll need robot arms on each of these, with item filters set to keep exact, and it'll be a stack of each. Import that, and that's going to make our conductive iron wire. Output that to the drawer, and then this one will be used in the next recipe. So this one will be almost the same, except it'll be for conductive iron wire, conduit binder, plus, what's the next tier? Energetic alloy wire. So that will go in there as well, and then robot arm, same again for the inputs, a stack of each. Keep exact, item filter, energetic, a stack of conduit binder, and a stack of these conduits. Import, this should make the next one, and then I just have to set this for all the conduits. Okay, so that's all of the conduits and interfaces, robot arms, etc. all configured. We're now making all of the conduits up to draconium energy. And it turns out actually our conduit binder is not sufficient at all. I think I was actually way off with this conduit binder. So either we add more furnaces like this, or we add a multi-smelter. Just as a quick fix, I'm going to just add one more electric furnace. However, probably between episodes I'll add a multi-smelter for this. But since the multi-smelters are all going to go in with the blast furnace rooms, which isn't currently designed, yeah, I can't really add those just yet. But so just for now, I'll add that furnace there. And then, yeah, that gives us all the energy conduits, which means we can do the rest of these thrusters. So all of this now can get unpinned. So what was this for again? Vibrant thrusters, that's right. So we need to go all the way down to conductive iron, electrical steel, energetic, vibrant, dark solarium. Actually, this is going to need the resonating redstone crystals as well. So we'll need ender shards, so we need ender pearls for that. That's an easy enough recipe to fix for the ender shards. And then alloy smelter. Do we want to put this in a processing array? Let's see, 9 seconds at LV. Okay, I just set up the processing array here for the resonating redstone crystals. This is a little bit of a special case since it requires 2 different inputs, and so I just put 2 different input buses to avoid any jamming for the redstone and ender shards. And I'm just running this at IV. This is going to give us plenty of these redstone crystals, which means we should be able to move on and do, what was it again? Iron thrusters, that's right. We currently don't have the plates on the mat, or passive, so I'll have to add those, but I'll set the recipes and then do that later on. So red alloy plates, the crystals, and conductive iron conduit. Oh, and for some reason it doesn't like this redstone crystal, presumably because it has the grid power MBT data on there. Wait a second, no, I'm just stupid and didn't put the input or the storage bus on here. I bet that's what it is. Yep, that's exactly what it was. Oops. Okay, that's that thruster done. Next one is electrical steel. This is another case of not having the plate, but I can add that after I add this recipe. Okay, there's the electrical steel thrusters. And this will be the energetic one. Again, I don't have the plates for this, but I'll add that. So we'll set the drawer, and one more to go. Vibrant thrusters. Alright, there's vibrant thrusters, and I think that's the last one in that specific chain. The next, oh no, it's dark solarium next as well. Which is dark solarium. We have this. Flight control units. I don't think we have these on passive yet though. Do we? No. Okay, let's add recipe for that as well. And then all of these middle items, like the flight control unit, all take the soul binder. So I think in between episodes, since we've already covered that in previous episodes, I just have to move it from downstairs to the new room. So I think I'll do that just after this episode. But let's just finish off by importing the recipe for this dark solarium thruster. Alright, there we have it. Dark solarium thrusters. They're definitely not very fast. and not quite fully automated. There's a few things I have to add in, like those platings. I should pin those just to remind me. Electrical steel and conductive iron, so I'll add those. But yeah, that's about all the time I've got for today. I feel like we got quite a lot done today, actually. Yeah, a lot of the buildings and systems are now in place just to add to this so that we can keep passive in these microminers. It's a huge undertaking. I knew we wouldn't get it all done today, but hopefully you can see where all of this is going. Once again, if you have any suggestions or anything, let me know. However, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more Omnifactory.